Hello, I'm Alan, and welcome to today's edition of Alan's Cycling Adventures. Today we are riding from Indio to Brawley. This is actually the only discontinuity in our trip. We're riding to Brawley and being bussed up to Blythe because Route 10 between Indio and Blythe, there is road construction and it is closed to bicycles. So they gave us an alternate route to give us the distance, even though we're not, making a continuous trip across the country. I'll explain more in the voiceover. Anyway, we're all getting ready here. Here's the rest of the group, and we'll be leaving very shortly. And so if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or ideas for future editions of Alan's Cycling Adventures, be sure to leave them in the comments below. Well, without further ado, let's ride. So what's the start of a day without a little mistake? And here it is. We all started out as a group, one big long group, and the person in the lead made a wrong turn, and we ended up turning around and finding our way. I guess someone wasn't watching the GPS. Anyway, we did ultimately get on the road. And as I mentioned in the intro, this is the hopefully only discontinuity in our trip across the country. Normally on this day, we would go from Indio to Blythe, which is due east of Indio and pretty much on the Arizona border. The most direct route, actually the only route, is via Route 10, which does have a bike lane, but because of road construction, the bike lane is currently closed, and Route 10, that section between Indio and Blythe, is closed to bicycle traffic. So we couldn't ride to Blythe, and so the folks at Crossroads instead planned an alternate route so that we would still get the distance in and get the riding in, even if we didn't ride the exact route. It's a bit of a kludge, but I will take it and still consider myself to have ridden across the country. So once we got to Brawley, we loaded up on passenger vans. Well, first we loaded our bikes onto the trucks and the vans, and then we loaded ourselves up onto passenger vans and headed to Blythe. We did have lunch in Brawley first, but that was basically the reason for this discontinuity. Once we got out on this one road that we rode on for many, many, many miles, there wasn't that much traffic. Traffic wasn't too bad. The pavement wasn't great, but the pavement actually got worse later on in the ride. On today's ride, we actually had three SAG stops. I got to experience something that the pros get to have in the Tour de France and other races, and that is an ice sock to keep yourself cool in the desert heat. More on that in a moment. Hello again. Well, we finally reached the Salton Sea. It's been interesting crossing the desert. A lot of farms. Dead flat road. Pretty interesting. But let me just pan around and show you guys the start of the Salton Sea with the mountains on the other side. Just thought I'd stop for a moment and share that with you. And there is the road ahead, which I am about to rejoin. See you in a bit. Getting back to those ice socks, I have seen in pro racing the cyclists getting these, best way to describe them is they're nylons, like women's knee highs, filled with ice, and they put them down the back of their shirt so that it's on their neck and upper back. And it's supposed to help reduce your body's core temperature. I've never used one before. I have ridden in heat, but desert heat is a little bit different than run-of-the-mill heat, and it did get quite hot today. So at the second sag stop, we had the option of getting an ice sock to put down our back. And at the third sag stop, we had the option of having our ice sock refilled with ice. I did take them up on both, and I have to say that I was a little nervous at first of what it was going to feel like, but it felt good. Definitely was kind of a game changer for riding in the desert heat. In terms of what the weather was like, by the way, this ride was on May 7th, 2024. We did start at 7:38 a.m. In terms of the weather, at the start, it was clear, and you can see it was pretty much clear all day. 66 degrees Fahrenheit with a feels-like temperature of 64 degrees Fahrenheit. By the end, the temperature was in the upper 90s, might have even topped 100, not sure, but definitely a hot day. Interestingly enough, I drank a ton of water, I drank a ton of electrolytes, and I did not have to stop to use the bathroom once in 80 miles. That is unheard of for me. I usually make 3 or 4 bathroom breaks on a ride of that length. Not today. As fast as I was drinking the water, I was sweating it out, and it was evaporating off my skin, and so there you have it. The humidity at the start was 38%. And the wind was only 0.8 miles per hour from the north-northwest. The wind did pick up a bit over the course of the day, and it also shifted a bit. So just as in past days, we ended up with a headwind, no tailwind. Oh well. The total length of this ride was 79.44 miles. I know I said 80. I was kind of rounding off, but you get the idea. I did this ride at an average moving speed of 15.1 miles per hour with a maximum speed of 21.4 miles per hour. I had a total moving time of 5 hours, 16 minutes, 29 seconds, and an elapsed time of 6 hours, 31 minutes, and 6 seconds. And by the way, I set out this morning to do this ride as a recovery ride because tomorrow's ride is going to be almost 115 miles, also through the desert in the heat with, I guess, light to moderate amount of climbing. And the next day is only 60 miles, but with a lot of climbing. So I know that things are going to be tough the next couple of days, and so I was trying to do a little bit of active recovery today. As a matter of fact, from what I understand, more than the next couple of days is going to be tough. It's going to be tough all the way from here to Flagstaff. But it is what it is. I know what I signed on for, and so I'm going to give it my best shot. In terms of, I gave you the moving time of 5:16:29. The elapsed time was 6 hours, 31 minutes, and 6 seconds. My average heart rate was 119 beats per minute, with a maximum heart rate of 135. According to Garmin and Strava, I only burned 1,737 calories. I don't think that's accurate at all. My average cadence was 77 RPM with a max cadence of 97 RPM. I had a total elevation gain according to Strava's map data of 618 feet, and according to Garmin's barometric data, 787 feet. And I had a total of 23,320 pedal strokes. Today's ride, once again, was entirely in the state of California, but this is the last ride that I will be able to say that for, because tomorrow we will be entering Arizona. I'm going to try to get some pictures of the signs at the state border. Someone in our group suggested getting pictures at every state crossing. I kind of like that idea. I think I'm going to try to do that. So as I said, the entire ride was in California. We started in Indio, rode into Coachella, Thermal, Mecca, Desert Camp, North Shore, Salton, Ferrum, Dermid, Bertrand, Bombay Beach, Pope, Frink, Worcester, Mundo, Nyland, Estelle, Calipatria, Rockwood, Havli, and finally we made our way into Brawley. Once we were in Brawley, about a mile from the finish line, I was passing a little convenience store, and there were a whole bunch of people from my group out front drinking chocolate milk. Normally I save my chocolate milk for after I finish, but with everyone else doing so, I guess power of suggestion, I pulled in and got a chocolate milk and then finished. Interestingly enough, I think we bought every chocolate milk in the store. Anyway, that's all I have time for, and see you later. All right, another leg done. That's 3 down, many more to go. Well, until next time, stay safe out there.